Hey guys, welcome to the Great Detainer Show. Today we're gonna be checking out on Reddit pro revenge on ways to get revenge, I guess, apparently. But you're gonna be watching some gameplay footage. Aren't you happy about this? Are you? Yay! So, let's see. That gameplay was from mine. I don't remember when. That must have been some years ago. That was 2019, I think. But yeah. So the title is "Scammy for $180 for cleaning on move out." I don't think so, Jack. Background: about 10 years ago, my landlord died. I don't know what a landlord is, or at least the person who owned the place we were renting. The property managers had been delightful, but however, he wanted to sell, so the house was for sale. Enter a jackass. We'll call him Jack. Oh, that was funny. Who decides to buy the place? Now, ours was the top floor, i.e., the attic converted into a suite. A house less than 35 square meters, or 375 square feet. The bathroom was literally where the stairs up to the top floor used to be. The place was tiny. Jack came to check out the place, as you should before buying one. He had one of Bluetooth a pair of those of Bluetooth AirPods, I don't know, and I can't remember if he acknowledged us. He spent 30 to 45 seconds in our suite. Next time we hear from him is a month later. Apparently, he bought the place. He stopped by to give us a notice of rent increase, effective in 6 months, legal minimum, from $485 to $795. Oh my god! That place is not worth that much. We say it's not to the oh god, okay, I can't read for some reason. Next time we hear from him, yabba-doo. The place is not worth that much. We say nuts to that place and decide to buy a house, since what the heck, it's not much more per month. Surprised to see to anyone who's ever bought a house, it was more than just mortgage of payments. Well, houses are expensive, yeah. Really expensive. I think a good one is 100K, and a mansion is a million. But you can rent them, so it could be a business or something, I don't know. So, let's continue. Jack decides to try to scam us for $80 of our damage deposit for cleaning. He doesn't provide the required forms, just says, "I'm gonna hold $80 from your damage deposit for cleaning." We respond with, no, you're not. Jack, assuming we need the cash for our next damage deposit or bills and will settle for anything, "Take this, or I'm gonna keep your whole deposit." Cue revenge. So he decides to just keep the whole deposit $485, and I filed paperwork with the rentalsman, who surprisingly, after investigation, ruled in my favor. He ordered to refund the whole deposit, but Jack decides not to pay. A relentless man does not have any enforcement powers. So I had to go to the local service office. They can send a legal demand letter for the deposit plus costs, but it will cost me $100 to $150. I forget up front. Sure, go ahead. Jack decides to ignore the sheriff's kindly letter. Sheriffs say that they can start proceeding to recover the debt plus the cost, but I again have to pay up front $250, and it might take quite a while. Gosh, making sheriffs are expensive. Why do you have them? Like, god damn. Aren't sheriffs paid from the not from the people? They're from the government, I think, right? I'm not sure. I think I'm missing out on something, but I'm not sure. So I guess I'm gonna continue. I guess most people quit at this point, being out of pocket $700, throwing more money at the problem, and maybe having to wait months didn't appeal to them. And there's also a chance you never collect. I choose to pay the sheriffs. They send another, less friendly letter to Jack, but here's the best part. Now that they are recovering their debt, they're all gonna recover, all of them basically, of the outstanding judgments against him. And apparently he has tried this stuff before. They send him another couple of letters saying, pay or else. Jack chooses else. Oh, that's not gonna be good. I'm gonna enjoy this. And then they seize title to Jack's giant white SUV. I can't remember what it was, but not a cheap one. They didn't physically take it away or anything, but they gave him 30 days to pay all the judgments against him, or they would take it and sell it at auction. Somehow he all of a sudden found the money. My share was $485 plus 150 plus 250, which gives us the astonishing amount of $885. God, that was great. The other people who had registered, who gave the judgments, but not paid to the store collection processes, were about 5K or more. I can't remember how long the whole process took. 6 months though, at least. Also, landlord tries to scam us, okay, and then we move out. So it actually ended up costing him $6,000 US. Why am I so excited actually? I don't have any idea. Well, let me see the next one. Let's see this one. Apprentice engineer, pieces of the crew, gets left behind 250 miles from home. This is gonna be so awesome. I'm gonna enjoy this so much. But before that, I think I should get my PC to load up. I'm not sure. I think that nah, it's gonna be fine. Let me start. So, apprentice engineer pieces of the crew gets left behind 250 miles from home. Oh, this is big. Oh no, this is not big. It has a lot of comments. I guess this is gonna be maybe more. I don't know. Now, I was reminded of this story after a recent phone call from an old friend, rather a long one. So sincere apologies in advance. It's part of it at Reddit's Pro Revenge and Reddit's entitled People. Yup. Some years ago, I got a gig working at a weekend music festival. Fairly simple too. 10 brands per day and all standard rock and roll fare. Boston Man puts 4 of us on the gig: me, Dreadful Boris, Big Chris and Hammer. He also said we'd be taking out from The Apprentice, a young lad who was on the son of a local promoter. Well, always nice to have an extra pair of hands, and it was good to help train the next generation. After all, that's how we learned in the past. So as it turned out, that lad was about as much as an equivalent to a truth. He had an entitled attitude the size of a mid-ranged African country. Oh, my PC's gonna die of battery. I guess I'm gonna have to get it loaded up. I guess you're gonna enjoy the gameplay. I don't know what is going on your screens right now. I hope something good, I guess, or you're gonna leave the video or something. Like, share, subscribe. Take the time I'm plugging into the power source to like, share, and subscribe, because, guys, are you not entertained? Are you not entertained? You are entertained. Don't even try lying to me, okay? Don't try lying to me. Gosh dang. Don't. So, as I was saying, let me see, where am I actually in the gameplay? Oh, I was just leaving a match. Let me actually load it up and get you to a bit more speed. I'm gonna give you super speed. No, that's bad of an idea. Okay, and I'm gonna get you to, I don't know, cancel, I guess. So, where were we? So, they get in a road, and we've got a 16-tone stuff to everything. We're basically stacked. We've got a lot of things, okay? Okay, and then we've got 6 kilovolt of monitors. As you might imagine, this is way too heavy stuff. And yeah, we have a lot of heavy stuff. Okay. The entitled brat snortily announces that I'm a sound engineer, not a hamper, and promptly strolls off. And I'm like, okay. We don't really need him. Gumming up his words. We're all used to lying, stringing boxes around, and now, so about an hour later, we had everything stacked up and strapped down. Run out the multi-core to the, okay, that's weird stuff, I don't know what that is. Out of nowhere, The spotty oik emerges. What do you mean oik? It legit writes oik. Emerges from whatever hole he was buried and asks what he can do. I say, I'm gonna plug up the front of the house. Perhaps you should help. You could help. Hammer cable up the speakers. I don't take orders from girlies. What? Quick side note here. Hammer was 5'9", drop dead, gorgeous, and had as nails, hence her nickname. She was also damn fine, FO8's engineer and bloody good mate. Okay, so yeah. So Boris, Chris, and I collectively groaned inwardly and winced in anticipation. A full 16 broadside from Hammer. Seriously, folks, you do not freak with her unless you want the family jewels dangling from the nearest tree. Instead, she smiles sweetly, never a good sign, and says, well, I'm sure you'll learn something useful. I then go off to play with the cable's FO8s, and while Boris and Chris busy themselves with the monitors. A while later, I'm back on the stage. Spotty Oik and I has wandered off again. Hammer has this resigned look on her face. What happened? I ask. I'm like, what happened? And this is not my story, okay? This is not one of my own stories. My stories are really boring, so I don't say them. Yay. Where were we? So it turns out that despite cables and connector ports being all labeled, the OIC had managed to make a complete pig's ear and plugging up the AMP racks. Trust me, it's very hard to make this kind of mistake. Found the OIC some moments later and told him that it was not proper way of doing these things. And if he wasn't sure what to do, he should go ask one of us beforehand. What then came out of his mouth actually floored me. I don't need to know all that stuff. I'm a sound engineer. Blink. Hammer, who was standing a few feet away, snorted deprivedly and rolled his eyes heavenwards. Took me a few seconds to process this particular nugget of stupid. Well, you have to know how all this works. It's a part and parcel of the job. As you're here to learn, I suggest you to pay attention. Well, you're just a bunch of roadies. What do you know? Upon delivering this charming bomb knot, he ambles off again, leaving me to retrieve my jaw from off the desk, and Hammer, barely able to restrain a fit of laughter that would have incapacitated a rhino. I guess this idiot thought he was going to be a white gloving front of house for the whole gig. An hour or so later, we're all set up, and we now have a fair idea of the acts that are gonna be performing. In situations like this, you rarely get the opportunity of a full-blown sound check, so you have to rely on experience to set the desk up from cold. Luckily, we got the first act on stage a half hour before the kickoff, so I will quickly get a rough sense of the overall setup. A bit of exposition It's convenient to reuse channels cross acts, so I generally keep the first 20 or so channels for drums, bass, and guitars. Then the last half dozen goes to. Wait a minute. So the last half dozen flutes, okay, and the last half dozen or so channels for vocals. If a band comes in with anything else, percussion, brass, Tibetan, nose flutes, etc., we whack them on channels in the middle. Keep things nice, simple and consistent across the board, and becomes important in a moment. So, the working procedure in show is also simple. Dreadful Boris and Big Chris round the monitor desk and Hammer and I run front of the house. We'll do two acts before hanging over to the other. Saves wear and tear to the ears. Okay, and what's next? And then we're not running the desk. We'll handle setting up the stage for each act and troubleshooting if necessary. Well, I'm gonna continue with this, and once this ends, I'm gonna be like, okay. So, this ends in a bit, yeah. So, basically everything is going okay. So, we also talked to Spodioic with helping the stage setups, which rapidly proved problematical. We finished the first act and aimed to do whatever turnover within 15 minutes. Generally, the incoming act will tell us their mic equipment's requirements, and will write up a mic plot with which then gets sent up to the front of house desk. Up comes Podioik with the mic plot, and he goes back to help with the stage setup. As I'm checking each mic, I notice I cannot hear the vocal channels. No sooner had I spotted this than Dreadful Boris comes to intercom and asks me if I can hear the vocal channels. He can't hear them either. What's even going on, okay? He then goes out to the stage box where all the mics are plugged into from all the way out front. I hear him shout, "Freak me!" Seconds later, he's back on the cams. Do you know what that freaking idiot has done? Only repatched all the vocal channels so that all plugs on the stage box lined up neatly one after another. His words. Ye gods. Okay, that was what was written. Yeah. Boris rapidly repatches the mics, and then we're good to go again. A few hours later, I'm staring at my second shift out front. I won't bore you with the experiences of riding head spookioid on the stage shift. Shall we say was interesting? Yeah. Currently on stage was nice jazz. I love doing jazz. Give me a nice, okay, blah blah blah. And then basically they made everything okay. And what actually happened? Let's see. I won't fatigue you further with the endless catalog of full ups and altitude we managed to effect over the rest of the weekend. He was and blah blah blah. Okay, so at the end of the event, it's now the fun part, striking the rig and loading out. I'm being sarcastic about the fun part, by the way. 2 solid days, we were all knackered by the last thing we wanna be doing to get out. Okay? So, after this ended, he vanished to the woodwork. Okay? Spotty Og, that weird kid. 2 back-breaking hours later, we were all done. The truck loaded to go home. So where's that kid? Nowhere. We give it a good 15 minutes, no joy. Then we decide to go look for him. We spent another 20 minutes strolling around the site trying to find him. Again, he's done a disappearing act. We get back to the track close to 3 a.m. and then we say, "Freak him!" We get in and get away. 250 miles back to the warehouse to unload. So next afternoon, boss man calls to find out why we had left him behind. I gave him the cliff notes, and there was so what happened? A 500-mile round trip. He said, I never liked that promoter anyway. He was always late playing the bill on previous gigs. Next time he calls wanting a gig and a crew, I think I'll tell him to go frig off. Okay, I guess that's it for today's video. Like, share, and sub. Even though it was kind of weird and nobody understood it and shit, well, it was good. They basically, that person made their life difficult, and then they let him alone in the woods. That's what you do with all your problems, guys. That's it. Like, share, and sub. I'll see you in another one. Peace out, guys.